Ladies and gentlemen, those of us who are dissatisfied with the past 5 years of our political process, those of us who recognize what took place, and we are hoping that if we share that information with one another, that many more of us will understand what took place and perhaps change our idea and be more aggressive in making a difference in now than then. It's a continuation of the trick that is being played. You know the way the American system always worked. We talked about it sometimes when we talk about the purpose of the Electoral College. It's a power ploy. And right now, we have said, we're just revisiting what we have said before, that the Republican Party and the Democratic Party, they say it represents two perspectives, and perhaps it does. But each one of these perspectives comes from the dire reality of a single power, which is not the true power. And so when they have given us as worse as we can get of Donald Trump, they have a protection. And the protection for them in power is the Democratic Party. So we get rid of Donald Trump, we get upset with him, and then we fall back on the Democratic Party. And what have we done? We have stayed right where we were all along. We're still under the same power, same control. Now, that being the case, there should be something that separates us. And it is a reality that there is something that separates us, which is truth. Man wants you to think that he is power. Now, when I say man, I'm talking about people. It doesn't matter whether the man is white, whether the man is black, whether it's a man or whether it's a woman, whether they're straight or gay, whether they are American or some other. It doesn't matter. They want you to think that they are the power. And they need forces, they need support in order to have. And that obvious, what you want to call it, obvious power, where people don't question it. So you need your Trumpers. You need your Republicans and Democrats. You need black and whites. You need sometimes just segregation. See, all of that, that's man's rule in maintaining power. And in all of that process, what I'm telling you is the same thing I tell you all the time, and I want you to hopefully pay some attention, is to manipulate and control. And whatever it takes to do that, they will do. Now, in this situation right here, there is a way you can go that is not of man being the power. You know man didn't make this earth and all of the resources that this earth has and all of the wonderful stuff that exists, even at our hands, that is a product from our imagination. A power that was given, was made into us. All of us got our specialties. Now, man had nothing to do with that. But it's here, it's reality. So there is a power that man can, that isn't man, that we can't put our hands on, we can't touch it, can't feel it. But yet, all existence truly is the evidence of it. All the evidence that is good. Wherever there's pain and suffering is when man tried to take control and infuse his own will into it by his will, that causes the cancer to grow in a corrupt society. So that's still over there. Then the way we are. You heard this plays the song, The Way We Are. This is the way we are. Maybe you heard the song called The Way We Were. We can't sing that song yet. This is the way we are. But the challenge today that is before you, as American people and people of the world, is now that you have had exposed, and this is really the prime purpose of the spirit of the living God working in people. It's to expose the ugliness. Now, what has happened is we had a divine intervention over the past year and more, but especially over the past year. We've had a divine intervention to expose the systems of government and how they work. I mean, it's one thing for a person who loves God to go in and point something out and then have to dig and investigate and challenge to prove a point. But when something happens and the whole world sees it, that's a miracle. To expose how the systems work with George Floyd's murder. And heroism, divineism. I want to think of a better word, but at the moment I can't. But definitely chosen by the almighty power to expose. That's what we do. That's what the children of God does. When these things happen, when these little cancers start occurring, when you find something, body's trying to implement something that's taking advantage of somebody else that's going to cause them a disadvantage, you recognize that, you reveal that to all the party concerned and anybody else, then you reflect what the proper operation should be like. That is the operation that doesn't cause any pain or suffering for anyone. It might work for everyone. It might work for some. It depends upon what it is for. But it doesn't cause anybody pain and suffering. So, this is a choice. There we got peace, prosperity, freedom, all these kinds of things. But you're not going to hear this message. Why? Because life, reality, as it were, is built on the fact of what you know about this system. This is what is designed. Anything outside of that now has no purpose here. Not here. So this is when you're talking about the invisible power. All of a sudden that invisible power lives inside of you. And whatever love, affection that you have, this is what you exhibit in your dealing with one another. And you learn from one another. And your love grows, intensifies, it becomes more magnificent, and you're more wondrous. And creation happens, you know, like things like Earths and galaxies. That's when you're moving on up. It's not trying to get rid of a cancer like breast cancer. Stuff like that should be simple. But for man's world, it's not. Why? Because that's money. It's money in it. Who's trying to fix money, get rid of money? No, ladies and gentlemen. So I want you to know that the trick is being played on you. Trump was bad. If this is your choice, you can fall back on anything between, you know, still be a Republican, or you can even fall back on a Democrat. It doesn't make any difference about where you fall. It's where the power going to end up at. That power going to either be a return to conservatives, Republicans, or it's going to be Democrat, and it doesn't even matter if they're liberal. It's still functioning under the same hand. Functioning under the same hand. They got that fixed. You don't know that. Your preachers are supposed to tell you about the other side that you are supposed to operate under. Being born again means that for some strange reason you have awoken, you have awakened to the fact that there's another side. You know, you see how simple Donald Trump came in and told people that lies don't have to be lies. They can just be alternative truths. Their truths, what they accepted. And those people accepted that right away. They accepted that right away. For hundreds of years. Well, I wanted to say the church has been telling you a different truth, but since I've been living, they've been telling you nothing like the truth. They keep you bound. It's like the master says, choose who you want to put in the pulpit. And teach them to teach the same message we teach, the bondage message. And that's the one they've been teaching us. We're still in bondage. And if anybody want to break away, you put that money to them. You choose your churches that you invest in, glorify them, publicize them, have the people going to them in droves to really get the message. And these little small things, right, they don't really matter. They can't even survive. They're still around here trying to get big buildings and stuff when their membership is 2 or 3. And they think just because they got a big building that their name is on, it's going to give them some power. Now all these new expenses that they got. Goodness gracious. But that's what's important to man. That's not important to God, because when you're dealing with God's way, you got your needs met, you got your desires, you got your wants all met. And there is peace and prosperity and freedom and joy and the fulfillment of your dreams, and you participate and make it real, because every last one of you got a hand in it. So it belongs to you. Peace belongs to you. You created it. Prosperity belongs to you. You created it. The joy belongs to you. Well, you benefit from it. That comes from something a little bit more powerful. But your dreams coming true, that's you doing it for one another. Ladies and gentlemen, think about that. I'll talk to you later.